had facts when I heard other time travelers calling in from any time past the year 2500 AD. Please let me explain.
Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to the Dr. Creepy channel. But before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. It is a small click for you, but for us, it really means a lot. Now, let's rewind to the beginning. The first fax from the alleged time traveler was received by Art Bell in July of 1998. It's crucial to mention that during this period, Art frequently received calls from individuals claiming to be time travelers. The fax from the time traveler expressed disagreement with other callers who claimed to come from beyond the year 2500.
Dear Art, I had facts when I heard other time travelers calling in from any time past the year 2500 AD. Please let me explain. Time travel was invented in 2034.
That stated that time travelers encountered an untraversable barrier once they surpassed the year 2564. It then broke down the mechanics of time travel. According to the facts, time travel was invented in 2034. The success of certain fusion reactor experiments led scientists at CERN to develop the world's first self-contained singularity engine. The basic design involves rotating singularities inside a magnetic field. By changing the rotation speed and direction, you can traverse both forward and backward in time. Time can be viewed as a series of interconnected lines. When you travel back in time, you move along your original timeline. Turning off your singularity engine creates a new timeline due to your presence and that of your time machine. In essence, a new universe is born. He then made a series of grim predictions. 1, the I2K disaster was a catastrophe. 2, the government attempts to maintain control by enforcing martial law, but their efforts to restore power fail and everything collapses. 3, a power facility in Denver manages to restart, but is overwhelmed by hordes of people and destroyed, leading to a consensus against reviving the old system. 4, a few years later, a communal government system emerges after several adjustments to the constitution. China reclaims Taiwan, Israel triumphs in a major battle, and Russia is blanketed in nuclear snow from their ruined reactors. Of course, this series of events never occurred as I2K turned out to be less disastrous than anticipated. However, staunch followers of the time traveler argue that this catastrophe was averted because he was the one who prevented it. Others suggest that since he originates from a different timeline, our timeline was never destined to experience these events. However, these details were mostly forgotten, just like other time travelers who reached out to Art Bell over the years. The story truly gained momentum on November 2nd, 2000, when a user named Temetravel0 posted on the Time Travel Institute. Temetravel0's post on the Time Travel Institute forums was a pivotal moment in this intriguing saga. His introduction was straightforward yet captivating. Greetings, I am a time traveler from the year 2036. I am on my way home after procuring an IBM 5100 computer system from the year 1975. He elaborated on his time-traveling device, describing it as a stationary mass temporal displacement unit manufactured by the household name General Electric. The device was powered by 2 top-spin dual positive singularities that create a standard offset Tipler sinusoid. He even offered to share images of the unit to satisfy the curiosity of his readers. Later in January, Temetravel0 made an identical post on the Art Bell forums. This repetition wasn't redundant, but rather a method to reach a wider audience. The Art Bell community, already familiar with the initial series of faxes from the time traveler, was abuzz with the possibility that this was the same individual from 2 years prior. In the year 2036, a bug was predicted to plague Unix systems in 2038. This bug is not a figment of imagination, but a genuine glitch known to tech experts. The veracity of this bug was later confirmed by Bob Dubkey, one of the developers of the IBM 5100 computer. He corroborated John Titor's claims about a secret feature in the 5100, asserting that this feature was indeed real. However, some people argue that this secret feature wasn't as concealed as Titor might have led us to believe. Regardless, if Titor's claims were a mere hoax, it's plausible that the person behind them would need to be well-versed in the industry. Opinions on John Titor were divided. While some were convinced by his claims, others deemed him a fabricator. Regardless, on March 24th, 2001, Titor made his final post, stating, "I will be leaving this world line shortly, and this will be my final post." He confirmed that a select few knew about his imminent departure and would announce his departure after his exit. First parting words touched upon the question many had been asking. If time travel is real, where are all the time travelers? He cited 2 examples from his personal experiences to explain why time travelers prefer to remain anonymous. Titor compared their fear of exposure to the fear people have when they encounter a stranded motorist or a homeless person. The risk of helping others is often deemed too great, and this fear of potential danger is what keeps time travelers hidden. Titor maintained that, as time travelers, they were not obliged to intervene in a world line's issues since their travels between exact world lines were impossible. He stated that since world lines, events, and outcomes are infinite, their time could be better spent on other tasks. He even joked that the walk to the gas station might be beneficial to the people of this world line. He expressed his gratitude to a woman named Pamela, who assisted him with email communications, and all the others who asked insightful questions. He claimed to have learned a lot through these interactions. Titor clarified that he had no ulterior motives, but was merely fulfilling a secondary mission protocol to gather as much information as possible about a world line that met certain conditions. In his farewell, Titor left us pondering why the U-22 bug did not impact this world line as expected and urged everyone to be prepared in case of unexpected breakdowns. He signed off as John and disappeared from the Art Bell forums. Yet, the John Titor story was far from over. Numerous theories, potential collaborators, and suspects popped up over the years. The narrative involved a woman named Pamela, a forum user who had a close relationship with John. They reportedly communicated frequently in private, and John even gave her a secret song as a code, which he would use if he ever returned to this world line. In 2017, Pamela reached out to Michael Save, the author of who authored the John Titor legend. She shared with him a picture of an IBM 511010 label that John had sent her. However, it's worth noting that John Titor claimed to have procured a 5100 model, not a 5110. Pamela also mentioned a dream she had in 1998 where she saw a man who she later believed to be John Titor. This dream seemed to play out in reality when she started asking John detailed questions upon his arrival in 2000, as their conversation played out exactly as it had in her dream, which intrigued her even more. A bug akin to the I2K glitch is anticipated to affect Unix systems in 2038. This isn't a phantom threat. It's a genuine recognized bug. Bob Dubkey, one of the developers of the 5100 computer, later confirmed that the secret feature John Titor mentioned was indeed real. However, there are those who argue that this so-called secret feature of the 5100 wasn't as covert as it was made out to be. If these claims were a hoax, the knowledge displayed would suggest that the prankster had a background in the IT industry. Public opinion about John Titor was split. While a significant number of people believed Titor, an equal number thought he was a fraud. Regardless, he had previously expressed that the very thought of the present world scared him, and he speculated that other temple drivers would likely share his sentiment. To elaborate, never shared 2 personal anecdotes. He once observed his parents' a reluctance to assist a stranded motorist. They cited fear and the likelihood that the person had a cell phone to call for help themselves. If not, they felt a walk to the gas station would serve as a valuable lesson about being prepared. That second example was the common tendency to avoid homeless individuals. These examples, according to Titor, are indicative of why time travelers choose to remain hidden. In trying to help, they put themselves in great danger, and since the nature of time prevents traveling between exact world lines, there's no point to it. Upon arriving at the new 1998 world line, Titor noted that he could easily repeat all of his actions and conversations. However, he believed that his words would likely be disregarded because they had already been heard on this world line. He thanked Pamela, who assisted him with email communication, and everyone else who asked intelligent and insightful questions. He claimed to have learned a lot from these interactions. Titor emphasized that he no can your agenda. Instead, he had been observing this world line closely. His interaction was not a direct mission parameter, but a secondary mission protocol to gather as much information as possible about a world line that met certain conditions. What surprised him was that no one seemed curious why the I2K bug didn't have a bigger impact. John Titor's story gave rise to numerous theories, potential collaborators, and suspects. People believe that Pamela holds the key to understanding the entire situation. However, there are also those who think she was merely being trolled or perhaps is an attention seeker. A man named Marlon Pullman also comes into the picture. Marlon Pullman was a highly educated computer scientist who worked in software development and published a number of books on the topic. In other words, he was the kind of man who would understand the intricacies of what John Titor spoke about. In 2004, he attempted to patent John Titor's time machine. This led many to speculate that Marlon Pullman was the man behind the posts. However, Marlon denied these claims and explained that this was simply a project he undertook to keep himself occupied while battling Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2002. Marlon's story took an unexpected turn in 2013 when he was sentenced to 6 years in prison after pleading guilty to assault and drug possession charges. Then there's the case of Oliver Williams. In the summer of 2001, a few months after John Titor left, Art Bell's forums closed due to clashes between the moderators and the users. The legend of John Titor might have been completely lost were it not for the efforts of Oliver Williams. He created JohnTitor.com, which compiled all of the forum posts and related news stories in one place. His website quickly became the central hub for all things related to John Titor and played a significant role in popularizing the story. There are some people who speculate that Oliver Williams was the mastermind behind John Titor and simply wanted to preserve his own story. Most, however, see him as a John Titor enthusiast intent on preserving the lore. His decision to add a merch store in 2004 and include a book by the John Titor Foundation raised a few eyebrows. When asked about this book, Oliver provided an update. He mentioned that he had received an email from an eBay buyer stating the book was signed by John's mom and described an extra picture folded inside the book, which apparently contained more technical details about the time machine. According to reviews from those who bought the book, it's pretty good and offers a different perspective on the story. Oliver also revealed that the John Titor book is represented by an attorney named Larry Haber. Larry Haber, who many people believe to be one of the key players, enters the story at this point.
I'm Larry Haber, attorney for the John Titor Foundation. This is my son Brandon and my brother Richard, who lives up in New York and is visiting us this week.
No one here is John Titor.
There is a departure video. I can't talk much more about it. I know that they also want to release that to make sure people understand that this is real and that John was here. I've seen it once. It looks real to me. I don't know anything more about it. Again,
How long is the video?
how long's the departure video? A couple of minutes is all I saw. I don't even know if it's longer than that. I saw it.
Larry Haber is an entertainment lawyer who's worked for Disney and is based out of Celebration, Florida, a town created by Disney. According to the Orlando Sentinel, Larry and his family were actually the very first people to live in Celebration, Florida. Interestingly, John Titor's IP address was traced not to Tampa, Florida, where he claimed to be from, but to Celebration, Florida. This connection, coupled with Larry Haber being the sole name connected to the mysterious John Titor Foundation. After a thorough analysis of all the available data, Andrea, along with his team of post-grad students, reached a conclusion. The most likely suspect they deduced was Mari Haber. However, Andrea made it clear that this conclusion was based strictly on the analysis of the most likely suspect from an already established pool of suspects. The caveat here is that if the individual behind John Titor's posts wasn't included in this pool of suspects, then their analysis wouldn't bring us any closer to the truth. In essence, what this conclusion doesn't assert is that Mari Haber was definitively John Titor. Instead, it suggests that out of all the suspects considered, Mari Haber appears to be the most likely one. Now, it's your turn to ponder on this mystery. What are your thoughts? Could Mari Haber indeed be John Titor? Or perhaps could Joseph Matheny be the man behind the posts? Maybe it's someone entirely different. Delving into the realm of extraordinary possibilities, was John Titor genuinely a time traveler? Before you dive deep into these conjectures, I have a small reminder for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the Dr. Creepy channel. We regularly bring you more intriguing videos on paranormal phenomena and mysterious events. Your support helps us explore and share the unexplained aspects of our world.
Listeners, If you like this type of content, check out our other videos based on true accounts. We cover everything from ghosts, poltergeist, time slips, the strange and the unusual, and even your favorite movies.